It's time for today's Face-Off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Get out! I'm hit!
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Chose a Florida deputy who absolutely should have never been a cop in the first place. A Florida deputy who obviously was not trained by the right people, because totally this was Barney Fife. This was a cartoon character in uniform. This Florida deputy arrested a suspect who allegedly had stolen his girlfriend's car, was sending her threatening text messages, and he had a weapon on him from a 911 call. They pulled the car over, they searched the young man, no weapon in the car or on him. They pat him down real well, handcuff him behind his back, secure him, and place him in the vehicle in the police car. An Acorn hits the roof of the car. This cop falls to the ground, starts shooting recklessly into the car. Then he starts saying, shots fired, multiple shots fired. Then this damn fool goes on and say, I'm hit. With what, an Acorn? The Acorn never touched him. But the problem with this is the sergeant on the duty also, she starts shooting into the vehicle from the front of the vehicle because of his reckless conduct and behavior. What angers me about it is not one of them was charged with a crime. Not one charged with a crime. There's a double standard in America for when law enforcement officers commit crimes against citizens, particularly black citizens. They're not held to the same standard as a black person would be if the roles were reversed. He should have been charged with attempted murder. The sergeant, she also should have been charged like you charge black people all the time with the law of parties. Your conduct was criminal also. You can't justify criminal conduct based on what he did. Baby. Y'all both was wrong. They both should have been charged with attempted murder. That's what angers me, and that's what gives fuel to the movement of defund the police.
So initially, not to play devil's advocate, but there were multiple shots fired. He's just the one that shot him. So, there's a bunch of issues here. First of all, I'll take the sergeant's side. The question is, what would a reasonable police officer do? If a reasonable police officer, the sergeant, heard multiple shots, she had another officer saying that he was hit by a bullet and he was shot at, then I don't think it's unreasonable for her to return fire. I do not think she committed a crime. But Jesse Hernandez, I think it's Hernandez, right? Thank God it was a person of color, because I'd have had to listen to the litany of white bigoted slurs for the first few minutes of this segment. But this man, clearly, he's not Barney Fife, and maybe Barney Rodriguez, right? But, again, not a white guy, but has no business. He's a coward is what he is, right? He was clearly terrified. This was dispatched as a car thief with a silencer and a gun. Obviously, it's absurd. So
why was he not charged?
Oh, I think he should be charged. Absolutely. But I also think it goes deeper than that. People need to stop calling the police to referee life disagreements. Like, if this guy was being physically abusive or threatening her with a gun, which I haven't seen, right? Then yeah, call the police. But when your boyfriend just won't bring your car back, the car that he probably drives with some frequency, don't involve the damn police.
But did she lie?
Well, I don't know.
In her 911 call, did she lie?
I don't have any idea.
Because if she did, she should be charged also.
Right. Well, no, because at the end of the day,
if she lied about him having a silencer just to get them to stop him,
right?
Oh yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Right. But they'd have to investigate that,
and wasn't no weapon found when he did that.
At the absolute end of the day, the officer, the deputy, he's already resigned. I think he resigned because he knows what's coming. I would be shocked if he wasn't charged with a crime. I'll tell you in the next couple of weeks.
No, the grand jury said he is not to be indicted. The grand jury looked at it and no-billed him.
Very, very quick turnaround.
Exactly.
I think that possibly the federal government might step in and talk about a civil rights violation. I presume, although the man wasn't hit. He was not injured in the spray of gunfire, thank God. I do expect a civil suit, but Quanah, we're not supposed to agree. We're supposed to fight, right? But I absolutely agree with you that coward who used to have a badge should certainly be charged with, in Texas, it would have been deadly conduct.
But not the sergeant.
Or aggravated. Absolutely not the sergeant.
So her conduct was not deadly conduct.
Well, no, the sergeant was
She made a judgment call that was false.
The sergeant was acting. No, she didn't make a judgment call. She was
did.
instructed by the deputy.
She chose to pull her firearm out and fire into the vehicle multiple times. It was a false reason for doing it.
First off, how did those two miss so many times? Like, how are they training cops? Like, well, we used to shoot every month when I was a cop. You got to qualify for the year. I was surgical.
Over 30 shots.
How you shooting 30
Over
bullets?
30 shots.
30 bullets. And you ain't hitting nobody.
It's called by the grace of God.
By the grace of God, I would agree.
By the grace of God,
Thank
that's
God
what it's
that guy
called.
wasn't hurt. I don't think if he was sending abusive text messages and then took the car and did return it without her permission, I think it's fair that she called the police. I don't think she should have, right, unless he's being physically violent or threatening her. I think we need to not look at the police's life
But he should be in jail.
And there are so many people.
But the cops should be in jail, both
poor
of them.
communities. No, the sergeant most certainly not, right? The sergeant.
She tried to kill that young man.
She didn't hit anyone. She was operating on the
only by God's grace and luck she didn't hit him.
Belief,
and because she's a poor damn shot.
The reasonable belief that there was a shot.
So
officer.
let me ask you a question.
Okay, ask me a question.
If one of us go outside today,
oh yeah, absolutely,
and we thought that somebody had a gun coming toward us, and we shoot them up,
it's a different rule.
We going to the penitentiary.
I agree.
We cannot use reasonable belief.
I disagree. I think
and they ain't got no weapon.
I think if no one was hit, and we can articulate the reasonable.
If no one was hit,
look, if it was
we are going to jail, boss.
Hey, let me promise you.
No, you're right. I take that back. You're right. You ain't going no damn where. You're right. I'm going to jail. You ain't going nowhere.
This whole myth of white people not getting prosecuted.
They will take my black behind to jail. You ain't going nowhere.
I'm gonna put it right here.
They gonna take you to Chick-fil-A.
I'm gonna put it right here on TV. If you ever do that in this scenario as a sergeant, not the coward Hernandez or whatever the hell his name is. If you do it from the sergeant's perspective, you had a reasonable belief, you didn't hit anybody, you didn't shoot anybody, I got your criminal defense on me, pro bono. And I will walk you. I will walk you if they charge you, but they're not charging you.
You know why you do it for free?
Why?
Because you get so much TV time representing me.
Oh, God damn.
And you just want to stand with me in public and be such a handsome man.
TV 3
and
times.
You know all the beautiful women will be crying all across the country. And they'll be sending you donations, afraid that I'm going to be locked up. And all the girls will be like, not my baby. Don't get rid of my baby. And they'll send you the tax income checks. That you'll be tax refund lawyer. All the beautiful women across the world will be like, they trying to hurt my baby. You'll get paid representing me.
The only media I do.
All the sugar mamas too. They'll be sending you a check too.
I don't talk to them. Unlike these whore lawyers, I don't talk to the media about active cases. I wouldn't publicize. I'd be kind of embarrassed that I had to represent you, right? Because we.
No, you didn't, sucker.
But here we are. I'm on the sergeant's side, and I'm on your side, Quanell. Every damn time. Every damn time.
Cash at the house. That has been, I don't know, all my life. If you're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. So I keep cash in my house, and I don't keep cash as good in my purse like I used to. I don't go on many dates, but when you go on a date, you should have cash in your pocket.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
That was just a clip of the litany of blathering, dishonest nonsense that came out of the mouth of Fulton County District Attorney Family Willis in the disqualification hearing last week. It's all over social media. The Democrats, the legacy media, and many Americans are applauding when she made the forceful point that this isn't about her. She's not the one on trial. That instead it's about those that were trying to disrupt an election. I have long said that the Georgia prosecution is the best chance to actually go after Trump and win because they have very unique and specific laws that limit what conversations can be had, what efforts can be made when involving elections. However, I think his speech with Raffensperger, I think it's protected by the First Amendment, and I don't think it will stand constitutional scrutiny, but I think she's wrong. I think she's absolutely wrong when she says, and everyone's applauding when she's talking about who's on trial. She, for the purpose of disqualification, is on trial. And I don't think just staring down the barrel of that is the end game. I think it's very clear that she lied in an affidavit to the court about a relationship with Mr. Wade. who was a civil attorney who she paid an absurd amount of taxpayer money to act as a special prosecutor. And it looks like the relationship began before that appointment. But she gave this story about how, oh yeah, everything he did for me, I paid him back. No, I didn't use a bank card. I didn't Zelle him the money. I didn't withdraw it from the bank. I didn't deposit. He said he didn't deposit in the bank. It was all this untraceable cash that we don't even know the source of. And then she talks about, well, she took money from her campaign, and she sounded so incredibly stupid. And I say this as a lawyer, right? I'm embarrassed as a lawyer that a lawyer is so out of touch with the functionality of her position and so willing to lie in a courtroom, and then America applauding it. I don't care if this is a Republican prosecutor, a white prosecutor, a Democrat prosecutor, a black prosecutor, someone going after Joe Biden, someone going after Donald Trump. When people just tell absurd lies on the witness stand, it is a denigration of our entire justice system. And for a top cop, for a prosecutor to do it, I think she loses her license at the end of the day.
Charles, I would say this, that I agree with you. She's in jeopardy with the state bar, no doubt about it.
Wow.
Because it looks like that she did testify to some things during this trial that could come back to haunt her.
You mean lied about things?
I believe that there could be some questionable things right there, but that will come out in the wash later. But I also believe that her ego has gotten involved. Because if she was a wise DA, look at the degree of distraction now that she has posed to this case. And now what you're going to do is taint your own potential jury pool in trying Donald Trump on these charges. She could easily step away and take the boyfriend and remove him also because
I think they broke up.
Well, it doesn't even look right.
Right.
It looks horrible. Remove him also. Don't give your boyfriend a big payday. Remove him
He already had
and
a
let
payday.
another DA's office take that case and deal with it for the sake of transparency and maintaining the integrity of that prosecution. But she should have known that when you've got someone like the former president of the United States on trial, you have indicted him, you want to take him to trial, he's going to have the best investigators, the best informants, and they got the resources to pay for it. She should have known that this was going to come out. That's reckless on her behalf. But let me say, I like Fannie Sugar Mama Willis. Because Fannie Sugar Mama Willis, you my baby, honey. She was paying for everything. Fannie paid for all the trips, paid for the flights, the hotel and five-star
that's her
hotels.
story.
She
I don't
paid
believe
for
it.
the food. She paid for everything. Even when he was married, she was still paying for it. Fannie Sugar Mama Willis. Look here, baby. Let me say this to you. Not only did you pay for that dang-a-ling, you actually gave him a high-paying job at the end of the day. Look, Fannie, baby, I'm angry for one thing with you. You didn't have to spend all that money on some bald-headed, sickly man, baby. There's many of us out here, baby, you paying for full vacations, multiple vacations, and she giving him thousands in cash. According to testimony from both of them, she was giving him thousands in cash. Fannie, baby, you look real good, Fannie. You so beautiful, baby. You look like Beyonce, Fannie. In fact, Fannie, if you're watching, baby, let me say this to you. I'm in good health. I work out every day. I'm real well. And, you know, he had cancer, so he probably had some ED. But, baby, you got all that money like that there? I like Fannie Sugar Mama Willis. Y'all leave Fannie alone. She took care of her side piece. She paid not by the inch, she paid by the pound. That's my girl, Fannie Willis.
Okay, I'm glad that maybe we can make a love connection between you and Fannie, but the truth
For that
is,
amount of money?
the truth
Oh,
is
yeah, I talked to
that
Fannie.
we have to start having a real conversation, and not just the far right and the far left, but a real conversation about this effort to get Trump and prevent him from running for office again at all costs. This is all a sham, right? There's federal grant money coming in, there's state money coming on, and that then she diverted to her lover, right? And we started dating after. She campaigned on not having romantic relationships being allowed in her office. And then, we talked about the amount of money he was making was so much more than prosecutors make. It was such and extravagant. But the truth
That's
is,
what she was supposed to do.
But the truth is,
She had to pay for the extra juice.
But the truth is,
she had to pay for the extra love.
Okay.
She had to put glaze on that donut, baby.
I really don't want to.
Because she gave some extra money to him
I
at
don't
a
really-
damn good paying job, brother.
I don't want to think about her donut being glazed, but at
For
the
that
end
amount
of the
of
day,
money, she's so
at
fine.
the end of the day,
Oh, she's in such
she
great
is
shape.
Not fine.
For that amount of money, she fine.
You know, I don't need.
Let me tell you
I got
something.
money.
Let me say this to you.
I don't need to lay down with ugly fat women.
We both
because
are successful.
Oh, come on.
But let me say this. I know a whole bunch of brothers who wait for them tax refunds for women like you, Fannie.
Okay.
But if you're doing it like that,
But
baby,
the truth is,
you got to understand. You in Georgia?
This was
Atlanta?
Not tax
Oh, yeah,
refunds.
Fannie, baby, you can do better than
This
that.
was taxpayer money, and this might very well be the death knell of this prosecution of Donald Trump.
You remember right.
And it might be the
This may
death
destroy the
knell
case against him, yes.
of her ability to practice law.
Well, I believe that the indictment is nothing more than pure politics.
Yeah.
And I believe it's nothing more than a conspiracy to stop Donald Trump from becoming reelected as president.
You gonna put your MAGA
by
hat
any
on?
means necessary.
You gonna put your MAGA hat on?
I got my Fannie Sugar Mama Willis hat on tonight.
Okay.
Don't you dare talk no mega hat.
Okay. Is that?
Can you imagine what kind of chick she write a man look like me? She gave him a high-paying job. He's sickly, bald-headed, got a rough-looking man. Look at here. Can you imagine? Look at Fannie, baby.
I don't even know. I thought we were going to have a real conversation
Fannie, baby.
about her lying on the stand, embarrassing the practice of law, which is hard to do.
Sugar
'cause
Mama did
lawyers
lie.
suck, right? Lawyers
Sugar
suck.
Mama did lie.
She lied. And you know,
That makes you a bigger
but
catch,
instead-
baby. Because see, you would
instead-
take the stand and lie for your man. She'll take the stand and lie for her man.
Instead, it
Yeah,
sounds
baby,
like
you
Love
the
Connection.
one.
I ought to say we'll be back in 2 and 2, just like Chuck Woolery back in the day. Fannie, if you are watching, hit me on Instagram. I'll connect the two of y'all.
Bring that money, honey.
Thoughts on Palestinians?
Crazy and misinformed.
Palestinians?
What'd you say?
Your thoughts on the Palestinians?
I don't have enough information on that. I'm
Okay.
straight up from outside of Chicago, born in Atlanta. I don't have enough information. It's love for everybody, but don't pull me to that conversation. I got 14 kids dying every week in my city. You know what I'm saying? So talk to me about that.
Yes. All right, thank you, Con.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Brother Kanye West was stopped in public by a quote-unquote freelance writer or reporter and was raised to question, do you have anything to say about the Palestinians or to the Palestinians in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, their war? He was very intelligent, in my opinion. He said, I don't have enough information about that. And so he went on further to say, spoke facts when he said, I got 14 kids dying every weekend or on the weekend here in Chicago. 1,300 died in Israel. Over 30,000 have died in that conflict. And he went on to say, I have sympathy and love for everybody. So I got love for everybody. I understand that. But why is it that when you look at the murder rate of Chicago in the last 10 years, why is there not a global world outcry about the thousands that have been murdered and lost their lives because of gun violence in Chicago? He's absolutely right. We as black people are expected to sympathize with everybody's suffering, and we do. But it appears as though when we suffer the same suffering or similar, there is no global worldwide outcry. So Kanye was smart. He didn't make a comment, said, I don't have enough information. So can you imagine, had he said something, they would have treated that brother like they did Kyrie Irving, or those others who've made conflicts about supporting the Palestinian struggle. I support a two-state solution in Palestine and Israel. I believe Israel is wrong with that bombing campaign they got going on over there. It's excessive, it's out of control. Charles, we're watching video after video of Israeli snipers shooting kids. Shooting kids, man. I agree with Joe Biden, it's over the top. The world has to say to Netanyahu, enough is enough. It's time for a ceasefire.
It's easy to say ceasefire, and forget that there was a ceasefire in place on October 7th, that Gaza broke with its attack on all the kibbutz and towns. But I want to focus more on Kanye. First of all, you make these holistic statements. Oh, all black people sympathize for this and that. You can't speak about all black people. There are wonderful black people. There are awful black people. There are wonderful white people. There are awful white people. Good people sympathize with victimization and bad people don't. And it's in no way defined by race. But Kanye specifically, right? I think he is one of, if not the best musician in the last 30 years in this country. I do exist in an orbit that he also exists in. I know that he's got a bunch of emotional health issues, right? And I think America knows. He made some very crazy anti-Semitic, seemingly pro-Hitler statements.
Did he really?
Yes, he did. And the suggestion that he did is insane.
Or was it a plan that he put in place to win his economic freedom?
It was not. Kanye regrets terribly what he said.
Charles,
He's apologized
how could he?
for it. He's worked with
apologized after he successfully got out of those bad contracts.
Right. You understand.
And now got the number one album on Spotify independently.
You understand that he had to spend his own money to run an ad during the Super Bowl to sell his stupid-looking socks.
And how much money did he make?
He made a good bit of money.
No, not a good bit.
No, he made.
He quadrupled his money.
Right.
Based on what he paid for the commercial, he quadrupled his money.
He made about $28 million.
And he paid $7 million.
Right.
Charles, that's a genius of a businessman, Charles.
No, because before.
And got the number one album on Spotify as an independent.
Before he self-sabotaged his deal with Adidas, he was making billions with a B. He was en route to being the wealthiest black man in America.
Well, then why'd they go back to him then?
Now,
why'd they go back to him?
Kanye,
after severing the contract, they went back to him and had to buy him out. And had to buy him out of that contract.
What you're ignoring is that Kanye made a point that is being supported right now in America by the left and the right. He not only refused to take the bait to wade into that conflict in Israel that has nothing to do with him, and whatever answer he gave was just going to harm him. Right? You know, there are people, musicians, like, we can say whatever the hell we want. We got our money, we ain't trying with it. Our shtick is being honest with America. They can love us or hate us, right? But he is an entertainer. And answering that question was dangerous to his career. Instead of just talking about that, he raised a point that most Americans right now agree with, and they don't feel their government is listening. That what about us? What about American citizens? And he didn't talk about black or brown, Asian or white. He talked about American children being slaughtered in Chicago and they're being abandoned. We talked about Brandon Johnson earlier in this week, who has the mayor there, who has turned his back on public safety. He has turned his back on citizens to steward more and more money to illegal immigrants. And I'll tell you, that's the thing. People can hate Kanye, people can love Kanye. He is a tortured genius. And I think that when his mom died, it put him off the rails.
I totally agree.
And I tell you,
it took something from him that has not been replaced.
I've seen him live repeatedly. The last time I saw him was at the Free Larry Hoover concert. I was actually backstage. That man is, he's Black Elvis. He's better than Elvis, because Elvis was just stealing black people's music, right? This guy, most rap shows, they're not great concerts, right? It's just somebody playing music and somebody rapping on it. It's not, it really doesn't translate to that medium.
He is a musical genius, no doubt.
But him and Mike Dean's performances, when Mike was still touring with him, local super producer from Houston, from Angleton, it's the best shows I've ever seen in my life. And he is a genius, and this answer exhibited his genius. He said, you know what, I'm not going to talk about that, although I empathize. I want you to talk about what's going on with the abandoned America. And it's black Americans being abandoned, white Americans being by this nonsense, defund the police instead of fixing the damn police. And hats off to you, Kanye. You're finally getting some stuff right again. I did like Kanye's answer. I do think it exhibits his sincere concern with the plight of the citizens, and not his hometown because he's born in Atlanta, but he grew up in Chicago. And I do like to see him on the mend, right? It seems like his mental health has been a lot better as of late. He is still making genius music, but most geniuses are absolutely tortured. And he is. Anyone that says Kanye is not a genius is, stupid, right? We talk about this deputy that shot over the Acorn. It's very common now for law enforcement to say things into their cameras that are not true to bolster their case. This guy not only said there were multiple shots fired, he said that he was shot. Clearly a coward, clearly had no business having a badge, and I'll agree with Quanell, absolutely should be charged with a crime. I disagree when we talk about the girlfriend being charged. We need to look deeper into that. If she did fabricate stuff, there's false report, but I don't think there's any evidence of that, and I don't think the sergeant should be charged. But another talking point that I think is being ignored is the need to stop calling law enforcement unless there's been an actual crime. To stop hoping law enforcement will be your life referee. Only call them when it's serious.
I believe that both cops should have been charged. There is no excuse for their behavior, their conduct. Had it been a common citizen and roles were reversed, that young man would be under the jail. They should have been charged and not allowed to get away with it. I hope and pray the FBI steps in, the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, and files charges against both of these officers. But I also want to say that Kanye West is a genius. But he exercised wisdom when he spoke the truth about what's happening with the killings in Chicago of black young men and women, and nobody around the world is talking about it, not even enough being talked about it right here among leadership in this country. Now I save my last for my baby. Fannie Willis. I have not been on vacation lately, Fannie, but I know you like to pay, Fannie. I just want to tell you, you're the prettiest, finest thing I've seen all week when I see that amount of money you willing to spend, baby. So, Fannie, I just want to let you know, Fannie, you're beautiful, baby. You're gorgeous, Fannie, and I just can't get you off my mind. You give thousands in cash to your sugar daddy. Your sugar mama. We love you, Fannie, and maybe you can buy my co-host a new damn tie. Like you've been shopping at the Goodwill.
We're gonna make a love connection.
Look at this tie.
Man, this is
like you've been shopping at
Hermes.
the Goodwill. Yeah, let's have a love shop at the damn Goodwill. Fannie, get him a tie, Fannie.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.